Hi everyone, I'm Akshay and welcome back to SigNoz channel. You might be already seeing me in a couple of videos where I'm going ahead and carrying the flag of the collection agents. But at the same time, I'm going ahead and also talking about the complexities and the kind of issues it comes when you're going ahead and configuring all of those configurations by yourself. In a recent video, we dive into the side of Docker, where by simple project, I went ahead and showed you a demo of how you can go ahead and configure the Docker collection agent. And at the same time, I showed you how you can validate all of those things on a cloud instance. Today, we are going to do the same thing, but for Kubernetes. And honestly, the Kubernetes side of this is where it's going to get completely interesting. And also because there are but more things that are linked into the side of complexities. And at the same time, you would have pod level resource usage, container logs, cluster events, known metrics, and all of it, which needs all of this kind of collection strategies depending on whether you're going ahead and taking the things at the node level or to the set of the cluster. And if you try to wire that up completely for yourself with raw OpenTelemetry ML, you are on a rough time. So SigNoz has a Helm chart called the Kubernetes infra that you can go and find in the documentation linked in the description that is gonna handle all of that. And today I will go ahead and show you exactly how it works. I'm gonna tell how the different configurations look like, what are the kind of different daemon sets that revolve around it, and also start from a basic installation config, walk through what it's missing, and at the same time go ahead and grab the full setup from the configuration and going ahead and validating everything in the cloud instance. So this is our project, the OpenTelemetry Demo Lite project, the same one that we went ahead and used inside the Docker implementation. I've done some changes to go ahead and give a taste of how the Kubernetes setup is going to be looking like. And over here, everything is going ahead and built around a e-commerce demo with 9 microservices across Go, JavaScript, and Python. And all of them are running inside a single container, and which is going to be SigNoz slash OpenTelemetry Demo Lite with a built-in load generator, and it's already fully instrumented with OpenTelemetry and continuously producing real traces, metrics, and logs. So there is no extra setup needed. And of course, it's just going ahead and giving you a complete slide around of how the collection agents work with Kubernetes. And the trace is going to be flowing across the browser simulator, front end, product catalog, cart, recommendation, just like the way it happens for a e-commerce website, and ending it with a code and an email. So there are 9 services in total, 3 languages, and of course, one container. And so this is going to be a test application. So let me just show you the complete Kubernetes setup that we have in our project here. So firstly, you have inside the Kubernetes directory, we have 3 files as you can see over here. The Redis YAML, OTL mock, and override values.yml. And if I go ahead and go through them quickly, let me just go ahead and start off with the Redis YAML. So over here, you can see that it's the standard Kubernetes deployment and cluster IP service for the Redis. The service is named as Redis, as you can see. And in our app, it can reach at Redis 6379 port via the Kubernetes DNS. And identical to how the Docker Compose hostname resolution work, this is nothing much special on that note. And then if I go ahead and open the OTL mockm, so this is the application, and the one meaningful difference going ahead and running it in Docker is right here. So as you can see in this host IP block, in Docker, we point at the OTLP endpoint at a static service hostname. And over here in Kubernetes, we inject the IP address of the physical node this pod is running on and send OTLP data to the port 4317 on that. And of course, the SigNoz Kubernetes agent runs as a daemon set. So this is the same thing I told you earlier as well. So there's one collector pod on every node listening on host port 4317. So whatever node the pod lands on, there's always a collector that is waiting for its data right there. And that is the only change we need to go ahead and do from Docker to the Kubernetes. And there's one environment variable. Everything else, the services, instrumentation, the trace flow is going to remain almost identical. So next up, we have our override values.yml. This is the very important file. And in this thing, it's going to be coming from the SigNoz installation docs. And this is what you get if you just follow the quick start. So as you can see, if you just go ahead and dive into the documentation, and you will go ahead and find this file over there. And over there, it is clean, simple, and completely inadequate for the real Kubernetes observability. If you will just go ahead and start up with this, because there are multiple things that you require. And let me just go ahead and tell you what it is there and also what is it. So firstly, what it gives you is OTLP data from instrumented applications is going ahead and flowing into the SigNoz. And yep, that's one. And then your app sends traces, metrics, and logs via the OTLP to the OTL agent on its node, as you can see over here. And those get simply forwarded to SigNoz. But these are all the things that you might require. But having like a production setup where you have like multiple pods and all of these configurations that you have to take care of, this is not simply one of the few things that you might require. And you just need a lot of others as well. That can be a lot around the host metrics, kubelet metrics, and no Kubernetes events, no Kubernetes attributes, some other things that you might be also play around with. And this is going to be missing the Kubernetes pod name, the namespace name. So the data arrives, you might see the traces, but without the pod and the namespace, you can't tell which workload generated it. And you will also notice there's one important thing, that there is no Redis receiver here. So no Redis metrics at all. So this same type of problem we solved in the Docker video, and we're going to solve it exactly the same way by going into SigNoz configuration docs and getting the right configuration out. So just go ahead and hop into the documentation. Well, I'll go ahead and talk and find all of these specific configurations, find those, add into our own override YAML file, and then just go ahead and spin up everything. Okay, so right now we already know the kind of thing that we are missing out and the things that we can definitely add. So we'll go to the documentation, dive into the side of the collection agents, and go and select Kubernetes and the Kubernetes infra. Before I just go ahead and start copying everything from the configuration, and of course it's that easy, let's just go ahead and firstly focus into the side of the overview as well. And as you can see, if I scroll down, you will find a section that says how it works. And over here, it's a simple diagram that's defining the two agents, the OTL agent and the OTL deployment. The OTL agent over here, it's going to be defined as a simple daemon set that's going to be running on each and every node. And it's one of the also important thing because it physically runs on the node. It can tap into things like a centralized collector, get the node's host metrics and the local kubelet API. At the same time, go ahead and listen everything on the host port 4317 that we already know. And then not only that, it's going to go ahead and push everything onto the side of the OTLP data to that particular host port. And second is our OTL deployment, the one that is defined over here. This is the one that exists as a layer just above our OTL agent. And not only that, it's going to be taking care of everything on the complete pod level, but at the same time, it acts as a single endpoint for the whole cluster. So it handles the cluster level data, deployment health, the stateful status, and everything around it. So as you can see, the one that I defined, it handles cluster level metrics, the custom metrics, and also the Kubernetes events. And one important thing that also you're going to be focusing around, if I'm stating as a one layer above the OTL agent. So as you can see, if we have the multiple nodes that are defined and is leading to the duplication of the metrics, you can simply just go ahead and have a OTL deployment agent that's going to be resolving this issue of the duplication of the metrics at the cluster level. So instead, from the individual nodes, the cluster level is going to be taking care of the duplication. For example, a checkout component is pushing the same kind of metrics from different nodes. It's going to be taking care and nulling them out. Then we have secondly, the installation. And of course, as you can see, this is one of our simple generic override values or YAML that you might have already seen in our project defined. And this was going ahead and already defining everything in our SigNoz Kubernetes infra collection agents. So it had the OTL agent daemon set already deployed. It was running on the set of the node and it's going to receive your OTLP data. So the collection agent was live and is also going ahead and giving you everything on the set of the bare minimum. There is only one single pathway open, as you can see over here, but there is everything that is required around the host metrics, the kubelet metrics, and all of that that's going to be talking about now. That's completely closed. So if we go to the side of the configuration, and this was a simple generic one, we need to go ahead and see how the things of the presets that are defined in our configuration is going to be helping for that. So as you can see, we have the disable logs, preset defined disable metrics, and not only that, our important one that are around the host metrics collection. So as you can see, we need the host metrics because right now we have zero visibility, and this preset is going to be taking care of it, finding the CPU, the memory, and the disk usage and everything at the node level. And not only that, we require also the container log collection, one other thing that's going to be helping you to get everything on the containers, std out, and getting the log files on the node disk. And if something crashes, there is everything that you can go ahead and take a look at SigNoz to go isolate it. Then also we require help onto the side of the Kubernetes metrics collection, because not only that we require everything on the particular host metrics, we require the API running on every node as per pod resource data, and which pod is consuming the most CPU, which can even go ahead and crash. Every single data is provided over here. And not only that, we will require help on the side of metadata enrichment. If you want to go ahead and play around with each of these particular labels out, you want to get the annotations, everything can be defined over here, and you can use the presets for your own use cases. You can even use the cluster level metrics, and then the Kubernetes event, the same thing we're going to be adding in our override value YAML. That's the next section we have coming up in our video. And then we have the Prometheus metrics defined. But as you already know, there was one important thing that we were missing, that they had a Redis receiver defined, and we have the Redis running inside the collector. We have the zero metrics of it right now. That's where we require a preset that's going to be taking care of it, and the SigNoz documentation has that to define. So as you can see over here, we have the simple thing around the production cluster that you can go ahead and get the full monitoring out. And if you have a Redis receiver, you can go ahead and look into this configuration, and you can simply add it to your override value YAML. So not only that, you have the complete 6 to 7 things that are missing. Get these presets out, add into your complete documentation, and if you want to go ahead and play around with some existing created files, you can even take a look at our user guide that are created. Here, the user guide are give an example of the Kubernetes monitoring with the OpenTelemetry. For example, if you are monitoring the clusters, if you are monitoring multiple clusters as well, you can go ahead and take a look at it of how you can have a step-by-step documentation, install it in the cluster by a simple command. And not only that, you have everything around the Kubernetes metrics for the different kind of clusters that can be around for IPv6 and the dual stack. So these are the simple user guide as well, you can take a look. But as we are going ahead and focusing on a single cluster level, let's just go ahead and add everything around in our override value.yaml, spin it up, and let's just see how it works. So now, as we already have all the presets and everything that we require, let's just go ahead and delete everything from the override value.yaml and paste our complete file that's going to be having all of those presets. So I'm just going to go ahead to our override values.yaml, go ahead and copy it, and simply delete everything around. And then we can simply go ahead and paste our configuration over here. And as you can see, everything we listed is now in here. You have the host metrics defined over here. Every OTL agent on every node now scrapes the physical host metrics, the CPU, memory, disk, and the network. And that's happening every 30 seconds. Then you have the log selection added as well. So every OTL agent is now tailing your complete file paths and directly on each node. And then you have the containers, everything around the logs going to the SigNoz Cloud instance. Then you have the kubelet matrix also defined, the equivalent of the Docker stats, if you know about the Docker stats receiver. And each OTL agent now calls the local kubelet API at our port 10250 and pulls per node CPU. The Kubernetes attributes are defined over here. The simply things around the Kubernetes events are also added. So everything in the pod restart and the OEM kills are defined, and everything is landing in our SigNoz logs explorer. So all in all, they are around inclusive of the Redis receiver and everything. There are around 7 things added. And let's just go ahead and get onto the side of deployment. And before you do that, make sure that you fill in these two values over here. Your OTL collector endpoint, you can go ahead and replace it with US, with EU, or wherever your cloud region is. And your also SigNoz API key, that's gonna be you can find in your setting and ingestion keys. Add them over there, and let's just go ahead and dive into the installation. Okay, so now that we have everything configured, I've added my own ingestion keys and the presets and everything are configured for our own use cases. Now's the time to go ahead and check on a few things. Firstly, that will make sure that our SigNoz Helm repo is registered and also up to date. For that, you can go ahead and find this particular command on the documentation as well. Or if you want, you can just go ahead and run this command over here. So as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and say add SigNoz, and I'm gonna define the URL. So charts.signoz.io. I'm gonna run that, and as you can see, it's exists with the same configuration. So I'm gonna skip that. The other command would be to go ahead and update it if need be. But okay, so we have the complete update from the SigNoz chart repository, and let's just go ahead and run our main install command. This is gonna take care of the entire collection layer. So it's gonna be helm install my release. Gonna be, you can go ahead and name it with the one you want it to be. And I'm gonna be here defining my Kubernetes infra, and I'm gonna go ahead and define the file path for override values. YAML. So as you can see, now is our important step to go ahead and install. And it's saying that, okay, the chart name was not found. Okay, so it was simply, it's key K8. It should be S as well over here. Okay, so we're gonna run that. Okay, so we have deployed the Kubernetes infrastructure, so that was pretty easy. And now is the next step to go ahead and check out all our pods by running them and see that how the various pods are coming up. So I'm gonna run this command to watch them. As you can see, a few of them are running. And we'll go ahead and check out the things that the OTL agent pods, that is one per node, the daemon set and everything, and the OTL deployment as well. That's gonna be running one for the whole cluster. So the entire collection layer is like, okay, so as you already saw, we just went ahead and run all of our pods. And instead of going ahead and watching them over here, I also went ahead and checked that how they're existing, if there is any crash or any loopback that has happened. But as you can see, they are all running completely healthy. And now is the next step to go ahead and run the application. It's going to be starting off with Redis. I'm just going to go ahead and define the file path for the Redis Kubernetes file. And we're going to go ahead and spin up that particular thing. Okay, so we have to also go this, run the command back again. Okay, so the service is created. Secondly, we have to define the OTL mock as well. Okay, so this another file is created. And before we do that, let's just go ahead and also watch these as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and CTL pods. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. So as you can see, all of our pods are running, and now it's the time to go ahead and check everything on our cloud instance. Okay, so now's the time to go ahead and go through each of these signals. So as you can see, firstly, we have the Kubernetes pod CPU usage, the one thing that we require and on the CPU utilization. And as you can see all of those metrics immediately flowing. And as you can see the attributes as well. You have the pod name defined as the namespace, the deployment name, all automatically attached by the Kubernetes attributes that we attached. And at the same time, you are also going ahead and getting your complete data automatically across each signal. And then you have the node host metrics. So as you can see, if we just go ahead and find the system.memory utilization, and you can see over here that our all the host metrics from the host metrics preset that we added are existing there. For example, look into the attributes here, and you will find few of the interesting things. Starting off with host name, which you can see if I go ahead and open this one, you will find the values like cart host and checkout host, and those are all the individual service processing host names reported from inside the container. And then we have the service.name, which has 7 entries, one for each of those microservices. And then if we scroll down a bit, you will find that the Kubernetes node name is minikube. That is inside the Kubernetes node which data came from, and even the cluster name and the cluster which we set inside our config. In our case, for OTL demo cluster. And if you look at the SigNoz component, that confirms that this data was collected by the OTL agent. As you can see, it is defined over here. So node level host data is automatically tagged with the full Kubernetes contact. And this was the only thing that we added inside the host metric preset. Now, important thing is also looking into the side of Redis. So if I'll just go to all our Explorer as well, and if I'll just go ahead and search redis.connected clients, if I click enter, you can find that it is going ahead and providing us the data collected exactly once we are the Kubernetes DNS, not once per node. Thus basically going ahead and telling that our Redis receiver is also working. And then let me just go ahead and jump onto the side of container logs as well. So as you can see, the container logs from each and every pod, and without attaching any log shipper or anything like that, we only have the logs collection, which is tailing our path that was designed on /where/log/pods on every node directly. And even if I'll go ahead and open each of these logs out, you can see and look into these attributes as well, which are Kubernetes.namespace.name, another kind of attributes that are attached automatically. And then we have the Kubernetes events, which we can also find over here. So in the log explorer, you can go ahead and find these event entries as well for basically existing the kind of our Docker equivalent. So all of your cluster timeline, including everything around the memory utilization, all of the kind of events that you would require around the pod lifecycle are existing over here as well. So next up, another important thing is getting the application traces, because we are going ahead and targeting all of those three pillars of telemetry. And over there, you can see that our distributed traces from all of the 9 services are also existing. So every span is automatically enriched with the same attributes of the Kubernetes.pod.name and the deployment. And all of our 9 services of front end, cart, checkout, payment, and shipping, and everything is there. So like it was simply one Helm install, and simply we just ran, I guess, a couple of kubectl apply commands, and without any kind of a custom OpenTelemetry pipeline YAML written by hand, we just had to go ahead and find our own set of presets, the kind of configurations we require, and the kind of things we want to play with in our own set of infrastructure. We just edited it, and at the same time ran those commands, added and updated our Helm chart, and we were completely good to go. You can even find a lot of things that you can configure. You can go ahead and find the things for the log selection, for the blacklisting, whitelisting, and not only that, you can go ahead and get the things done for the collection interval, what is the timeline you want, and there are multiple things you can configure. And if you want, you can simply go ahead and run it again and hit the kubectl apply command, and your complete pod will be good to go and sending the data to the SigNoz. Okay, so as of now, you already know how you can go ahead and play around with the configurations of the Kubernetes collection agents, and you also know how you can go ahead and integrate it into your existing infrastructure around Kubernetes. In our successive videos, we'll go dive into the VMs and ECS, as those are the ones next in the line. And if you are curious, you can definitely go ahead and check out our documentation, which is linked in our description. So I'll go ahead and see you in our next videos. And if you have any other kind of doubts, go ahead and join our community on Slack. See ya.